Well, right now, an Avon daycare worker is facing some new lawsuits from families who allege that their children were sexually assaulted by a worker there at the daycare.
Yeah, and we know that now former employee is in jail charged with sexual assault. Your reporter Taylor Knight is live in Avon with what the lawsuits mean for families.
The attorneys who filed these civil lawsuits represent at least 83 other families. They are asking for more transparency from BrightPath. Former BrightPath Avon daycare worker John Carlos Barrios Otero is charged with sexually assaulting 5 young boys between the ages of 3 and 5 during nap time. Barrios Otero started working for BrightPath Avon in January of 2022. We also know that he filled in at the Simsbury, Windsor, and West Hartford locations. Lawyers representing the victims and their families say these 2 new lawsuits are just the beginning of their effort to uncover the full scope of what happened here. They say they want to figure out what BrightPath and its parent company Busy Bees knew, when they knew it, and whether adequate safeguards were in place to protect children. The BrightPath Avon location that we are standing in front of right now shut down 2 weeks ago. We did reach out to BrightPath for a statement in response to these lawsuits. They say that they are working on getting one for us. Your reporter in Avon, Taylor Knight, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.